Hello, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you're here. Today I had to do this piece and I was working in my yard like I've been telling you I've been doing, and I have bleeding hearts in my backyard. So I wanted to create a piece with bleeding hearts. I'm using canvas, so like I do in the past, I put magazines in the back so that I can have a sturdier surface. Now you don't have to do it, it's just something that I do. And I tape those in with some masking tape or some painter's tape. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to do bleeding hearts. I looked all over for a bleeding heart stencil. I tried to find some type of image, and so I checked out Sean's stencils, and I ordered this one, and it's called Bouquet of Flowers 2. And some of the leaves and items on this one look like it was going to be right up my alley, what I was going to need. I'm applying a pretty heavy coat of gesso onto my canvas, and I'm doing this because I'm actually going to be adding some fluid acrylic paints. And here's my little color chart, and I'm going to use cerulean blue and then also yellow oxide, and these are by Golden. And I just wanted that paint to mix with that gesso and create a nice soft summery background for my bleeding hearts. And I was getting exactly what I was thinking of in my mind. So that gesso on the back is wet, and then I'm putting that wet paint down and just going for it, trying to create a background. Here I thought I'd add some of this yellow oxide because the sun is so bright and warm right now, and I thought that that would add another element to the background on the left hand side, because on the right hand side is where I envisioned this great big bush of bleeding hearts. Now I have the pink ones in my yard, and this year they have turned out just absolutely gorgeous. So really enjoying them. And I wanted to get this piece out before the bleeding hearts were gone. So here I'm adding some green, and this green is the avocado, and it is by Deco Arts, I believe. Yes, that is true. It's called Light Avocado. This color I use all the time, and I go back to it again and again. So here I was envisioning that large bleeding heart bush, and I thought, well, it's gonna need some green because there's so many leaves on the bleeding heart bush that we're gonna need to have some green behind there as a base. And then I thought I had a little too much green, so I'm adding a little bit of gesso, and I'm just going back and forth here until I had something that I thought was going to work. And then I'm going to leave this background dry, and I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I go ahead and tackle this bush? And I just opened the stencil and went for it. I thought I would get the best impression by using a stencil brush and my archival ink. And then before I started, in my yard I have these rusty wrought iron fences, and I was really trying to duplicate what I was seeing in my backyard right now. And so I went ahead and used a brown Stabilo All pencil and just drew in with a ruler some lines showing that rusty brown wrought iron fence portion that's going to sit by the bleeding heart bush. So that's what was going on there. And I have kind of these finials on top of my fences. So I just drew a triangle on top and a triangle on the bottom. I really wasn't 100% happy with it, but I thought when I get some paint on it and use that charcoal pencil, it will look great. So here I'm showing you, I'm just thinking a big huge bush here. I'm just gonna go, and I kept turning my stencil this way and that to make this great big bush. I think it looks like a bleeding heart bush. You know, what do you think? You know, let me know. So here I grabbed out some of my Arteza gouache paint because I wanted that really nice pink color. And also I did put down some burnt umber, and I thought I would go ahead and put down the stakes for my wrought iron fence here. And I'm just using a thin brush. I feel that my brush was a little too thick, so I switch it out, and I do thin my gouache paint down with a little bit of water. Now, I'm not sure why I chose to use gouache. I just wanted to use something different. And if you know anything about gouache paint, it is very water soluble. So you'll see here what happens when the gouache paint activates with some water that I put over the top, and it's going to wipe off the paint completely. So be careful with that. I just worked on the fence here a little bit, and I was trying to have the fence behind the bush, so trying to get the different angles and everything correct. And don't beat yourself up. We can always use charcoal pencil. We can go back with a little bit of the green, make some more leaves. Anything is fixable. Just go for it. Try it out. I'm looking at the piece behind me, and I think it turned out just great. It was what was in my head, and I really wanted to do something with bleeding hearts. Just painting in those finials. Finials, is that what they are? Yeah. And just making it my own creation. No one knows if it's true or not, or exactly what I have in my backyard, but it looks cool. So here I mixed some rose paint and some peach to come up with the perfect color that I wanted for these little bleeding hearts. And now you can see I was just testing out on the side there how I was going to make these tiny little bleeding hearts all over, hanging from these little vines. And I just did 2 little marks, and it turned out to be the most adorable bleeding hearts. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the white and just give it a tiny little dot underneath each of the hearts. And that's exactly how mine look in my garden. So I'm going to finish that up. And then I needed to do something with the bottom there because we can't have this fence and bush floating out into space. So I just used that sea sponge. I use it quite a bit, and I use that light avocado paint, and I'm just dabbing it on, kind of creating a little bit of grass maybe underneath there. And then I thought, oh, I needed a little bit of brown to create a little bit of dirt, and I just went for it. And I liked it. I wasn't afraid. And I swooped it up so it looked like pieces of grass around the fence bottom there. And it was quite fun. Nice little technique, and it worked out real well. And I was trying to fill in a little bit of the space behind the leaves. I didn't want to get it too covered up because, you know, I worked a long time on those leaves, but it was pretty light behind that bush. And, you know, there I think I have it filled in quite a bit. Now here is where I kind of messed up. I took that brown wash, had a little bit of water to it, and I thought I wanted to kind of darken up the sky a little bit there. Well, silly me, I went right over those bleeding hearts and wiped them right off. So I decided to do a little fixing and go back and add them back in, and it wasn't hard. Just remember that that gouache is going to be water soluble and it will wipe right off like it did. So I had plenty of paint mixed up. I just had to go back, create those little hearts. I remember growing up, and my grandmother used to have the most amazing bleeding hearts at her house. She had the best flower beds, flower gardens. And this time of year, I always look at mine and say, yep, my grandma would be proud of me that I've learned so much from her and take pride in my beautiful yard. Here I'm just using a little bit of water on my brush and going against the edges of that brown gouache and just pulling out a little bit to create that shadow. And I also have my charcoal pencil out, and I'm going to go around all of the elements here. And that's going to give great shadow and depth. And there is a lot of leaves on that bush, so it does take me quite a while to do it, but the end result is really great. And I do a lot of it off camera, so you don't have to sit and watch the process. Wonder what some of your favorite flowers are this time of year. You should comment below and let me know what some of your favorite flowers are. I would love to read about it in the comments. So down here at the bottom, I was thinking, you know, underneath that bush, it's going to be really quite dark. So I started adding charcoal pencil after charcoal pencil to create those shadows. And then you really see the piece coming together. It really was taking some shape here and adding the shadows from the fence there. Yeah, real cool. So I'm gonna go around all of the leaves on the bush there. I'm going to go around the fence using my charcoal pencil, and I do use my fine brush with water on it and go ahead and shade everything. This is a pretty quick and easy mixed media piece. It does have a lot of shading, as you can see here. You know, you want to make sure that you got all those dark areas. And here I thought, oh my gosh, there's so many bees buzzing around my bleeding heart. I had to see if I had a stamp of a bee, and I did have something that worked out just great. And so I stuck it to my finger here, and I'm using my black archival ink, and I put 3 bees on my bleeding heart. And then I was going to use this other one, but it was a little too whimsical for the piece. I wanted to keep the piece kind of true to how it looked in my backyard. using that black edge, and I am using a black marabou crayon and putting that all around. And I decided to put some underneath the bush also to add some more dark shading under there, because it really would be dark, you know, underneath that big bush with all those leaves and flowers. And I do go back and use some yellow ochre in the gouache paint from Arteza on the bees, so they look just so cute, just bumblebees. You can almost hear them buzzing in the backyard there. How fun. I really liked how it turned out. And then I thought I was finished, and I thought, whoa, you know, I have that one green pan pastel. I bet you that would make some really neat highlights on there. And I dug out my white pastel pencil, and that's how I finished it. After putting down the color for the bees, then I went in with the pan pastel, and then I could say that I felt like it was finished. It turned out just like I had it in my mind. It's kind of neat when something like that turns out. And I didn't put a sentiment on this piece. I just couldn't think of what to put. So I thought I'd just leave it plain. I don't think that it always has to have a sentiment. I think it turned out great. Here's some still shots at the end for you. Let me know what your favorite flowers are. And if you guys have any other project ideas for me, I would greatly appreciate any comments, concerns, questions. And I do have my new online class that's going to be in June here. I start sending out packages on the 15th. And how you can see what that's going to be is visit my website. There is a package list that shows all the products you will receive. It shows you the price, and I only have 12 packages for that class. There'll be 12 of us to do it, and I have 3 people signed up right now, so 9 left. So do it if you would like, you know, sooner the better. And just first come, first serve, and we're just going to do shipping within the United States right now. So appreciate you, and hope that you check out my website, and let me know if you want to do the online class with me. It's a really cool project, and the products are featuring Stamperia. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this summary piece, and we will talk to you again next Tuesday. Keep checking me out on my other social media channels. I have YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, my website, and of course my Facebook page. Thank you so much.